Like, hear me when I say this, my friends. Like, it is really, really destructive when you don't do hard things. If you think about it this way, some of your memories. Think about some of your memories. Are your memories based on easy things? Are they based on hard things? At the end of the day, we all as humans want to achieve big things. But we also, as humans, are designed almost naturally, biologically, if you will, to take the path of least resistance. Hey, what is up, everybody, and welcome back to the BFG. So today, we're going to be talking about something that is kind of fun for me right now, especially because I just accomplished something pretty big in my life. And I'm excited to talk about these principles with you. And not only is it going to be fun to talk about these things, but we're also going to probably be finishing this game today. This is the last little section of this game, and I'm really stoked to get into it. So without any further ado, we're going to be talking about how to challenge yourself. So let's move on into this game. We just kind of got through the dungeons or the lower portions of this world, where that sorcerer was like summoning a bunch of stuff and doing some shady heretical things, it would seem. So now we're gonna get to some fun parts where literally this game gets nuts. I've also decided that I'm just gonna kind of flow with these games, even through cutscenes. And the reason why is because I need to be able to focus on my thoughts and really just get through everything that I'm trying to present to you all. And I don't think it's fair to you to have to like stop and wait for the next point. And so I'm going to get better with these games and how I play them over time. So I just wanted to let you know that that's something that you'll see change in the future. A couple other things that I would love to get your feedback on. I know that I'm just slowly getting into this, but if you would rather see me do these games on live streams, I am happy to live stream. I don't really have like a good setup yet, but I'm definitely happy to live stream and just attempt it. I mean, like we talked about one of my previous videos, I'm happy and able. Why won't it let me get this? I'm happy and able to do some new things, and I want to learn and I want to grow. And I don't necessarily see myself as a streamer yet, but it'd be fun. So we might as well. So anyways, if that's something you would like to see, then let me know and we'll happily get that done. So talking about doing hard things, obviously, like in some ways, finishing a video game can be hard. At times, at least. It could be something that could be a little bit of a challenge. It could be kind of like tough if you're not like super into the game. But I don't know if you know this. Doing something that's difficult to its completion, aka you finish that thing. You don't just stop halfway through, you finish it. You complete it. That is a tremendously empowering thing for your psyche. And it's a powerful thing because neurologically, we are learning so much about how the brain works and how the brain functions. And the brain really is a powerful thing. I mean, we all know this. We all know that the brain is powerful. We all know that the brain does some crazy things, but it also does some just things that are like kind of beyond comprehension in a lot of ways. And one of the things that the brain does whenever we refuse to do hard things, aka we have something hard that we need to do and we don't do it, it really does damage to our brain. It actually creates these grooves. Your brain has these grooves in your brain, and when you do hard things, it creates further grooves, which allows for fluid transfer and all these different things, and it makes you a healthier person. Like, if you don't believe me on this stuff, just go look it up. Like, I'm no neurologist. I think in a different life, I would probably study how to make the brain function at its highest capacity. I would be probably more inclined to study neurology, but honestly, that would be a different life. But I have done a decent amount of studies into, neurology and how to make the brain function at the highest capacity possible. And it's something that like is just so fascinating to me. But the problem with doing things to a partial completion, the problem when you do something without finishing it, is that you get to this point where your brains, those ridges and those crevices in the brain, you literally become a smooth brain. You stop working within the natural function of the brain, and you're unable to do hard things in the future. Most likely, if you don't do hard things now, you won't be able to do hard things in the future. That's the basic principle. Now, how do you get around this? How do you fix this problem? Well, the answer is you do hard things. I don't know about you, but there's many times in my life where I don't do hard things. I just choose the easy path. I choose what's easy. And hear me when I say this, that's normal. Okay? It is normal to do easy things. It is normal to do things that are, and absent of difficulty. It's normal. However, it's really, really destructive. Like, hear me when I say this, my friends. Like, it is really, really destructive when you don't do hard things. If you think about it this way, some of your memories. Think about some of your memories. Are your memories based on easy things? Are they based on hard things? Some of your more core memories. Just think about that for a second. Like, take a second, take a deep breath in, breathe out, and think about your core memories. Now, I'm sure you're probably thinking about some core memories right now, and you can probably associate some of those core memories, whether they're good or bad. You can associate some of those memories with a difficult thing, something that was hard, something that you accomplished, something that you worked through, right? At the end of the day, we all as humans want to achieve big things. But we also, as humans, are designed almost naturally, biologically, if you will, to take the path of least resistance. Like, it's kind of this weird wiring in our brains that our brains and our body and our minds, our brains kind of work against us to a degree. And it's really interesting because we are so capable of so many incredible things, and yet we are almost designed to function opposite of that. Really bizarre. Really bizarre. But that doesn't change the fact that in the end, if we do hard things, we become better people. We have better lives. We just have a better experience overall. So, where am I going with this? Well, I don't know if you guys have ever heard of this challenge before, and if you haven't, I encourage you to look it up. It's called the 75 Hard Challenge. And my wife and I decided to do this because I was tired. I was fed up. And a lot of times doing hard things comes out of a place of like complete, like disgust with yourself. Like, you're just kind of disgusted with yourself, and you're like, I don't like how I look, how I feel, and I need to make a change. And that's how it was for me. I have been on like kind of this workout journey, this fitness journey for myself for the last 10 years of my life. 10 years. That's a long time. And when I first started, the reason why I started my fitness journey is because I was a skinny guy in high school and college, didn't have to work hard. And then all of a sudden, I got married and I got fat. Like, I got real fat. They always say that you put on like at least 15 pounds as a married man, as a teenager, a college student. And I put on like 40 pounds, guys. Like, it was bad. It was bad. And I can laugh about it now. You know why I can laugh about it is because I was happy. I was content. And I still am. Like, I still absolutely love my wife with every fiber of my being. And I was just so happy to be out of the single dating pool. And my wife was making all these yummy, scrumptious goodies, that were just delicious. And I ate them all the time. And she and I would like just have fun in the evenings, like eating really yummy food. And I just had a ton of fun and I was just lax. So like looking back, I got fat because I was happy. I was literally fat and happy. Like it was awesome. And I'm still happy. The difference though is that I lost a little bit of my, I don't know what it is, like who I am in that process. Cause I'm not normally like a fat person. I'm not normally a person who is overweight. I have never been overweight my entire life. So when I got overweight, I was like, oof, this is bad. And so I started this journey of getting in shape. Now, I was an athlete in high school, played basketball, played baseball, had offers to go play in college, and just didn't really want to play in college because I just felt like it was just not for me, really. And you know, that's okay for those who did play. I think good for them, actually. You know, I think I probably would have liked it for a bit and then probably would have, you know, hated it after a while, but I was a good athlete, all that to say. And one of the things that kept me, you know, skinny was when I was a teenager and all that was the fact that I was playing sports. In college, I played some intramurals and, you know, that kept me skinny. But then I get to, you know, my career and I'm working a desk job basically all day, every day. And it's like, all of a sudden I'm gaining weight like crazy. And so I actually never spent much time in a gym, like lifting weights and getting, you know, physically fit, even as an athlete. Like I never really did that. So I had no idea. I had no idea how to like stay in shape, get in shape, stay in shape. I had no clue. I was learning, right? I was learning. And so I learned and I developed my abilities over the span of 10 years. And that might, to some of you, seem like a way longer time than it should have been. And to be honest with you, you're probably right. You're probably right. I don't disagree with you. I think I probably could have gotten more fit faster. And for those of you who are really good at getting in shape, good for you. Like that's awesome. But we're all on our own journey. We all have our own road to take. And that's the beauty of living this life. And my road has taken me 10 years. And I finally got to this point before I move forward, because there's a big cutscene right here. I got to this point where I said, enough. I need to do something that's so hard, something that I've never done before, because I just felt like I was at this plateau. I was not gaining or losing any more weight. I was not gaining any more muscle. I had a hard time saying no to sugar and bad food for me. And I literally was like, enough. I'm done. I'm disgusted. I cannot do another 10 years of this. Right? I don't know if anybody's been there before. For those of you who are younger, you're probably like, I'm young, dude. I don't feel that right now. But for those of you who are older, like maybe 30s, 40s, like me, I'm in my 30s, and I'm like, I can't do another 10 years like this. So I decided to lean into something that was hard, and I chose the 75 Hard Challenge. I literally completed this challenge yesterday. I'm recording this on a Sunday. We finished this on a Saturday. And it was one of the greatest challenges of my life, and I'm going to get into that in just a second after this cutscene is done in here in a second. But I chose this challenge because I knew what it was going to do for me physically, emotionally, spiritually, mentally. And it was amazing. I genuinely like see this challenge as something that is transformative for my life. Like I don't think I'll ever be the same. And you might not think that's possible, but I promise you it is. Promise you it is. So if you don't know what the 75 Hard Challenge is, it's a grueling 75 days where you have to do 2 workouts a day. Those 2 workouts, one of them they both have to be 45 minutes long. One of them has to be indoor and one of them has to be outdoor. So you're working out inside and outside every single day. And you may think that's impossible, but it is possible. I did it. And the other thing about the 75 Hard Challenge is that you also have to read 10 pages of a book, a nonfiction book at that, every single day. You also have to drink a gallon of water every single day. And then you have to stay on a diet of your choice. We chose paleo, my wife and I. You can't do sugar, can't do alcohol. Got to stay off like bad processed foods. And then you have to take a progress photo of yourself every single day. Now, on paper, you might already be saying that sounds impossible. I promise you it's not impossible. I promise you it's not impossible. On paper, you might be saying that sounds easy. I promise you it's not easy. Either which way, no matter where you're at, 75 hard is a challenging thing. I've had friends who've done this challenge like 5 or 6 times. Some people I know do it once a year. And they all say the same thing every time, every year. Every time they do it, it's just as hard as the last time. And I think the principle of why we do this, why I did it at least, why we step into hard and difficult things, is because psychologically, when you do that hard thing, you realize that there's this inner self, this inner version of yourself, this person within yourself that is trying to come out, like scraping, clawing, clamoring, trying to come out of you, and you need to let it out, that person out. And the only way that these versions of ourselves can come out of us is by doing hard things. It will not come out by doing easy things. I can promise you this. It only comes out by doing hard things. Guys, whoever's listening, I never imagined that 75 days ago that I would be this person that I am right now. And you might be thinking that's not enough time to really make a life change. But like, seriously, the challenge ended yesterday. I'm still doing it today. Why? Because it's important, because it's a part of me now. I'm doing a minor form of it. I'm doing a version of it, but I'm still challenging myself today. My mind feels different. My body feels different. My soul feels different. It's like, it's weird, but it's powerful. And I want to encourage you all to find some hard things to do in your life. Like seriously, find some hard things that you want to do with your life, because I promise you, when you do them, you are going to just be blown away with who you become. The thing about 75 hard, for example, I was not competing against anybody. I was not competing against other people who have done it. I was not trying to beat somebody. I was competing against myself. That's it. It was me versus me the whole way through, start to finish. And there were some days where I thought I was going to lose the battle against myself, but I prevailed. And then there were some days where I thought, also that thing is cool. There were some days where I thought I was going to give up, but then I powered through. And each day that I did this, I became stronger. I became more resilient. I gained more power over myself, which was really, really cool. And I don't know if you've ever done something really challenging in your life, but think back to those most fond or those most concrete memories in your life when you did something that was either hard or it was just fun and hard, or something that was just, it stands out because it wasn't the normal. It wasn't the comfortable. It wasn't the easy. Think about it. Usually those things are associated with something that was difficult. Now, hear me when I say this. Life is not always meant to just be hard, right? Like, we need a break every now and then. I certainly do. So like today is our first day off of 75 hard. And I have been craving pizza the entire 75 days. I've just been craving it, and I can't have it on my diet. And so my wife and I are eating a pizza tonight. We need these little breaks. We need these little celebrations. We need these little, hooplas and hurrahs to make us know that we are human, right? The thing is, you do need to challenge yourself, but you also need to reward yourself. And this is going to be a whole nother video about how to reward yourself, when to reward yourself, you know, but you definitely got to do it on the tail end of doing something difficult. That's of vital importance. So anyways, I just want to encourage you with that fact. Challenge yourself. Challenge yourself with something. And hear me when I say this. You may not be ready for 75 hard. I wasn't for years. I was not ready for 75 hard for years. I had friends who did 75 hard and they succeeded. I had friends who did 75 hard and they failed. And there's a piece of me that's like, I didn't want to fail when they were doing it. Some of my friends who failed, when they were doing it, I immediately heard about the challenge and I was like, I would fail if I try it right now. I'm not ready. It took me probably 6 or so years to get fully ready, to get ready for 75 hard, where I was like at a level physically, mentally, emotionally. My time was better. My time management, I should say. And when I finally was like, okay, I'm ready to do something tremendously difficult, that's when it had the most effect. So you have to know where you're at when doing something hard. And that's my first kind of guiding principle. These guys suck. I hate these stupid things. I don't know why they're so weirdly hard. But yeah, they can just destroy you. Anyways, know where you're at in your journey and choose your hard. There's a generalized principle in self-development of any kind that you always are needing to choose your hard. You need to always be choosing something that's endlessly more difficult than it was previously. What do I mean by this? Like, choosing your hard is kind of like choosing like that difficult thing that seems so out of reach. You just climb your way to that slowly over time, right? Choosing your hard is like this constant like progressional thing where you're just endlessly figuring out how you can be a better version of yourself, okay? And then you tackle that. And then you become an even better version of yourself, okay? How do I tackle that? And then you do it. Choosing your hard just means you're going from one thing to the next. I kind of see it as like a ladder. It's a ladder. And I see choosing your hard as like a ladder because as you climb a ladder, you get higher and higher off the ground, right? That's the whole point of a ladder. AKA, you will not be in the same place as you were before. You're moving, you're adapting, you're changing, you're growing. And that's the beautiful thing about self-development. You are becoming a different person. So this analogy of like being on a ladder, I think is pretty cool because you're scaling. You're growing and you're moving into a different place. And then also, I don't know if you noticed this, but whenever you're on a ladder, your perspective changes. When you're on a ladder, you see things differently, right? You see the world differently. You see yourself differently. You see opportunities differently. You see everything differently. When you're on a ladder, you see the world from a different angle. So the higher you climb, the more you see things from a better or a different perspective. And that's one of the coolest parts about being in this process of self-development. Now, hear me when I say this. Like, you have to start where you actually can achieve the hard thing, because if you're not careful, you might start a hard thing and then you won't finish it, and again, you just create that compounded effect in your brain. Yeah, these things suck. Sorry. You create that compounded effect in your brain where you create those smoothness to your ridges, And that psychologically and neurologically really messes with your ability to do hard things in the future. So you have to think through compounded effect. So if you've never done like a study into like compounded effect, there's a really cool general principle about it that like basically you get better over time with anything. The more you do something, the better you get. And if a lot of people want to be the best or, you know, the top of something right out of the gate, and they don't remember, golly, I can't do anything, man. That's crazy. Okay. Ugh. All right. But they forget that like the best people, the best players of any video game or any sport or anything, they didn't get there overnight. I'm just dodge rolling like a madman right now. I don't know why he's zeroing in on me, but we're just having fun right now, aren't we? But you know, none of these people got to where they're at by just being, you know, a superstar right out of the gate. They worked hard, no matter if they were fantastic at it or not. They worked hard, and that's the beautiful thing about like, that's the beautiful thing about compounded effect. Whenever you're doing anything of compounded effect, you are making sure that you are giving yourself time to develop. Time under tension is where you build the most muscle, right? If you've ever worked out or if you've ever done any studying into working out, like time under tension is how you... Ugh, golly. Sorry, guys. I'm going to have to just get past this hell brute. For some reason, these guys are way harder in single player than they are in multiplayer. I don't know why. But there's this principle that time under tension is how you succeed in anything. And growing muscle and building muscle, right? You can spend an hour in the gym, but how long do you actually spend like actually lifting the weights, right? Because that's going to be a big indication of how much muscle growth you're going to have. If your time under tension is only like 20 minutes, when you spend like 3 hours in the gym, you know, that's not going to be great. You're not going to have a very successful time. But if you can increase that, you're going to build more muscle. But also, it's this principle of compounding effect, because the more you do something, the better you get at it. And it's just, imagine if you were to do 1% better at something for 10 years, every day for 10 years. Let's just say you wanted to pick up playing guitar. And you're like, you know what? I'm going to give myself 10 years and I'm going to give myself enough time to really develop this skill, and I'm going to get better at this over 10 years. And you tell yourself, I'm going to get 1% better every single day. Just 1%. Over those 10 years, you are going to be a rock star. And that may not be what you want to hear, because you may be saying, well, James, I want to be good now. I hear you. Trust me, I've been there. I'm not the most patient guy in the world either. But I think we overestimate what we can do in 1 year and underestimate what we can do in 10. That's just a generalized rule of thumb, it seems. And I don't know. I think it's powerful when I hear stories of people that have this mega success. I think it's powerful when you find out that they had been waiting, planning, processing, grinding it out for 10 to 15 to 20 years, and then they finally made it. The actor Harrison Ford, I don't think he got his big break until he was in his 40s. That's crazy. His 40s. Like, it's nuts. So I guess all this to say, like, he chose, like, people like them, they chose to do this hard, difficult, tremendously challenging thing over a long period of time. And that's where they found their success. Because they just let the time under the tension do its thing. They let themselves compound on their development, and they let themselves grow over time. They weren't trying to grow quickly. They were trying to grow at a reasonable pace with reasonable development. Like, you can't go into the gym tomorrow and bench press 600 pounds. If you can bench press 600 pounds, you're a freaking stud. But you know what I mean? You can't do that just right out of the gate. You can't squat 600 pounds. You can't do absurd lifts right out of the gate. You have to work your way to it. And so don't try to do things that are too challenging right away. You know, maybe you can do 75 hard. I encourage you to do it. I encourage you to try it. I promise you it'll change your life. You probably will be like me and my wife, where we're literally saying we're going to do this again next year, same time, same place. And that's cool, right? It changed our lives. And then throughout the year, we're going to be like, well, we're not going to change a lot of our habits, because like this is just kind of who we are now. We kind of eat paleo most days. We're going to work out every day of the week. We're going to drink more water. We're going to read more. It's a part of us now. And so I think just make sure like you're not starting something that's too challenging. You can start small. For some of you, your hard thing is just getting off the couch and just going to the gym. That's it. Like, that might be all that you need to do something hard. Just get to the gym. And then for others of you, you may be in the place where you're like, I need to do better with my finances. I need to learn how to save money. I need to learn how to invest. It's really hard for me to budget, right? For others of you, it may be like, I really struggle with making friends. I'm really introverted. And it's really hard for me to make friends. Which, by the way, shameless plug, we have a free Discord. It's totally free. It's growing. We have about, I think at the time of recording this video, I think we have like 70 members. And these are all people that are passionate about gaming and would love to play a game with you. So why not? You know what I mean? Come join us. Come be a part of this. But at the end of the day, maybe you're like, I struggle with doing hard things. Where are you going to start? Because if you can start and you can finish, then you will be profoundly changed for the better. You're going to be profoundly changed. And I think you're going to see a version of yourself come out of yourself that you're like, holy crap, who are you? I like you. I like this me. I like this version of me. Like, I can't believe that I am this way. And it's not a pride. Like, it's not pridefulness. It's not ego. It's literally just an acceptance of yourself. It's like an acceptance of who you are for the first time. And that's really cool. So doing hard things, that's what it does. It just compounds. It compounds. You do one small hard thing, and that eventually compounds into a big hard thing. Just checking my recording real quick right there. So, spoiler alert, I've actually seen the end of this game already. As we are talking about hard things, I actually recorded this whole mission. And By recorded, I mean I played through the mission and I didn't record it. I recorded the audio, but I did not record the video. And so talking about hard things, I had to go back and to replay the whole mission before this all over again, just to get back to this point so that I can finish the game out for you guys. So I'm just double checking my recording, and I'll probably do that a couple times as I go through the end of this game to make sure that I can actually use this footage. So there's another principle when choosing hard things. You might be saying, I don't really want to get to the gym. I don't really want to do this. I don't really want to do that. And I hear you on that. Like, doing hard things is hard. That's the reason why it's like, that's why it's called hard. It's like, it's not easy. It's not supposed to be easy. And you will need to do a lot of hard things if you're going to get to the point where you don't see hard things as being hard anymore. It's going to take time. But my challenge to you is this: everything is hard. No, seriously, everything is hard. Everything is difficult. Think about it this way: going to the gym is difficult. Going to the gym is hard. Going to the gym and working out is difficult. But getting fat is difficult too. Right? Getting fat is difficult because it messes with your body. It keeps your joints from functioning well. It keeps your muscles from growing. You don't feel good about yourself. You don't feel good when you look in the mirror. Right? Not going to the gym is just as difficult as going to the gym in some ways. But they have different effects. Not going to the gym has the effect of, well, that's one less thing you have to do. That's a pro. You get to sit on the couch and be lazy. That can be a pro, you know. But it also has a lot of cons. Going to the gym has the same thing. There's pros and cons. The cons of going to the gym are, well, you have to get out of your house. You got to get off the couch. You got to go put on new clothes and drive your way to the gym and get in front of a bunch of, meatheads that like are grunting all the time. And, you have to deal with like another person using the machine that you're going to use that day. And you have to be social, and there's a lot of cons. But then the pros, oh my gosh, the pros of going to the gym. You start to lose weight. You start to feel better. Your mind starts to get clearer. You have no brain fog anymore. You're able to see the world better and differently. You see yourself differently in the mirror. When you look in the mirror, you're like, oh my gosh, I actually like the way this person looks. I like the way this person feels. I like how I sound even. I don't know. I don't know what the thing is that you're going to like about yourself from going to the gym. But at the end of the day, the more you do something that's difficult, the more you like who you become. And so at the end of the day, I want you to consider. Just consider. Consider what that hard thing is for you. What is that hard thing that maybe you've known you needed to do for a while and you've just not done it for some strange reason, and you need to do it? I don't know what that is for you. I don't know. I don't know like what your life is like and what you're missing and what you're needing. All I know is that you are capable of doing that hard thing. You don't think you are. And I'm going to tell you a story. And we're going to kind of conclude this story. We're going to go through the story as like, man, I don't know how that guy did so much damage. Yikes. Yeah, this boss fight was a lot easier in multiplayer than it was in single player. I think it's because like the bosses solo you. They focus on you and not your teammates. And so you don't really have a lot of like time to like yeah, like I need ammo and I don't have a lot of time to like grab it. But anyways, I'm going to tell you a quick story here. And this is a story about a friend of mine named Matthew Scaletti. Matt Scaletti is what he goes by. And Matt is this incredible dude. Seriously, one of the greatest humans I know. Like, he seriously is like so cool, down to earth, humble dude. He's a ninja warrior. Like, he competed on American Ninja Warrior. He's done all these crazy events. He's a motivational speaker. He's an MC. He does all these cool things. And most recently, Matt became an ultra triathlon finisher. Now, if you don't know an ultra triathlon, it's a little nutty. It makes what I did for 75 hard look like a freaking baby crawling on the ground by comparison. It's like crazy how much like the contrast is. Like, I thought I was cool, and this is why it's not ego when I say like I don't have a pride in myself, or just confidence in myself. It's not ego, because I know that they're better than me at like certain things. It's just simply me being like happy for myself. But an ultra triathlon, I think it's 5 days long, 4 or 5 days, something like that. And it's about around 130 some mile run. I think it's like 160 mile swim, open water swim, by the way. It's not like in a pool. So you have to like tread water if you're going to stop swimming. And it's I think it's like an over 500 mile bike ride. All these things back to back to back. Like, what? First of all, what? It's crazy. It's crazy. Like, it's just absolutely nuts. And Matt was able to do this. Now, you might be thinking, well, Matt might be like younger than me. Matt is 44. He's 44, y'all. Like, that's wild. And Matt being 44, I think proves the point. But I'm going to give you another bit of detail about Matt that's pretty powerful, I think. And that is the fact that Matt did this one time before, but I think he exploded his knee or something like that the first time he did this. And that was in his 30s. And so Matt had this crazy injury, and he was still able to do it in his 40s. Like, it's just like, what? This is nuts. And Matt was able to do something that was tremendously difficult, and I'm really proud of him for doing it. Man, my teammates are not like shooting this thing at all. I really think the AI is just kind of garbage in this game, but that's a side note. It's a game critique that I have. Like, your teammates are just absolute dog crap at it. But at the end of the day, Matt was able to do something tremendously hard, and I'm going to further compound on this point that I'm trying to make, that you can do this. And here's why. At a certain leg in the race, when Matt was running, Matt, I believe, sprained his ankle. And Matt, there was this video that he posted on socials, and he is coming around this corner, and he's yelling. He's like, I got this. I'm not tired. I can do this. I can do this. He's like screaming at himself. And I think the reason why is because he's, one, in so much pain. Like, the dude is freaking tired as junk and in so much pain that he was like just trying to keep himself from losing all of his fervor. But also, I think he was like trying to mentally overpower himself. His body was telling him, I am weak. And he was saying, no, you're not. You freaking got this. Keep going. And And I think Matt was able to do this tremendously difficult thing because he was able to challenge his mind and tell himself, no, you can do this. Mentality, like a winner's mentality, is really powerful. I don't know if you've ever done any studying into like how winners think and how they function, but it's really, really cool. I might die. Crazy. It's really, really freaking cool. And really, at the end of the day, the way that winners think, it's all mindset. It's all mindset. The difficult thing that they're doing all comes down to their mindset. Now, you might be thinking, James, what does mindset mean? Well, I'm about to tell you. And I apologize that this is a hard part of the game. This boss fight's actually pretty challenging single player. For some reason, it was super easy multiplayer, but single player, not so much. But yeah, the mindset thing. What do those words mean? Well, think about it. Mindset. It's what you set your mind on that matters. Right? It's what you put your mind on that actually produces results for yourself. So think about it this way. If you're always depressed, and this was me for a long time, this is going to be a future video of mine. And so I'm not going to get too much into my depression story and how I overcame it today. And you might be needing that right now. And I encourage you, just reach out in a DM, reach out to me on TikTok or Instagram or all the socials. I would love to talk with you about like how to overcome your depression. And I would love to help you with that. But at the end of the day, I personally believe this because this is me. Like, the more I do this, the more depressed I am. The less I do this, the less depressed I am. And so, is there necessarily studies that have shown that this works? I don't know. At the end of the day, when I am thinking about myself more, and I'm thinking about my problems more, I become more depressed. Interesting, right? Really interesting. And I think the generalized principle is this. Like, when you are thinking about your problems and thinking about things that are not going well, you're just always thinking about those things, and you're setting your mind on those things. You're setting your mind on them. You're setting your mind on things that are bad and unhealthy. You're thinking about the things that are making you depressed instead of setting your mind on things that are good. And I'll get into this in a different day. Like, you may have watched the Mental Health Matters video. I encourage you to watch that if you haven't already, because it's pretty powerful. But at the end of the day, the more gratitude I have, the less depressed I get. And the thing is it's not just saying I'm grateful. It's setting my mind on that gratitude. Literally telling myself and convincing myself that I'm grateful, even when I don't feel it, even when I'm not like sure about it. Mindset is so important, especially when you're doing something hard. Like, especially when you're doing something hard. Like, it's impossible to do something hard if you don't have the right mindset. You could get into the mindset of a thing or into the difficulty of a thing, and you could be totally lost in this place of like, you could get totally lost in this place of like, I don't know what the word is. It's like you just kind of lose this ability to keep moving forward because your mindset is just all over the place. And at the end of the day, all you need to do to fix that is get your mind right. So like those days on 75 hard when I was like, I was mentally fatigued. I was emotionally fatigued. I had some days. I had some days where I hadn't gotten my workout in. I hadn't done all the things necessary, and I got home late and I had a long day at work, and then I had to, go outside and get my workout in, and it was frustrating to say the least. I'm like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to go outside. I don't want to do this. And by the way, I'm going to be posting all of these video journals of my 75 hard experience over on my Instagram. So if you want to see those, go check them out. They're a bit too long to post on shorts, but if you want me to create like a video series on that, for a shorts series, I can definitely do that. But what I had to do in those moments when I wasn't strong mentally is I literally had to go into myself, and I had to literally say the opposite of what I was feeling. So if I was feeling tired, I would have to tell myself, I'm not tired, I got this. I'm not tired, I got this. And I kept doing that, and I kept doing that, and I kept doing that. And honestly, it transformed my mindset altogether. Like, it transformed me, and I was able to fully find myself in those moments. And I was able to power through that difficult thing. And because I did that difficult thing, I was able to become more inspired to do the next difficult thing, the next difficult day. Honestly, the last week of 75 Hard that I did with Aaron was the hardest week. I was working from morning to night every single day. Barely had time to get anything in. I was traveling. It was just a challenge. It was the hardest part of the entire journey. But I was able to do it because I had 70 other days that I had walked through where I had powered through. And again, I compounded my ability to do hard things. Start small, my friends. You can do it. You can get through that hard thing that you have seen as a unscalable mountain for so long. It is scalable, it is climbable, and you can do it. And it's worth it. It's worth it to do it. It's worth it to try. It's worth it to give it your best effort. I think I got to this point in the middle of 75 Hard. I was like 36 days in or something like that. And I got to this point where I realized, you know what? Even if I fail for some reason, even if I did fail, I'm not going to let it get to me because I at least tried. But then again, a few days later, I decided, you know what? I'm going to take fail out of my vocabulary. I'm not going to fail. I'm going to succeed. I'm going to do this thing. And hear me when I say this. It was hard. I had family members who, a day before were like, you're so close. Why don't you just stop now? And I'm like, nope. I had people kind of jokingly make fun of me for, eating basically nuts and berries like a caveman. And it's funny. And it's also like, they don't get it. But I have to do this for me. The more you power through, the more you're going to have adversity, the more you're going to have people that don't get it, don't understand, and they will speak out of that lack of understanding, and that's okay. But you have to do this for you. Whatever that hard thing is, you have to do it for you. You can't do it for anybody else. Because if you're doing it for other people, you're going to fail. If you're doing it to impress people, you're going to fail. If you do it to inspire people, you're going to fail. If you do it for you, you'll succeed. You got to take quit out of the vocabulary, though. You got to make sure you take it out. So we're here at the end of the game. I'm just going to let you watch the last cutscenes of this game.
Lieutenant Demetrian Titus,
and I'll close my thoughts here in a bit.
Your decisive actions have saved this system from ruin. And so it is with great pride that I now present you with an honor worthy of your deeds. The laurels of victory. Let every warrior of the Adeptus Astartes see that here stands the true measure of a son of Guilliman.
For the glory of Ultramar!
Courage and honor!
Company dismissed.
Forgive me, brother. that it took me so long to bring you home.
My lord, that is...
Fierce was my wrath when I learned of your detention. In their arrogant suspicion, the Inquisition failed to recognize the truth. That no evil will ever overcome a devotion such as yours.
Thank you, my lord.
There is a mission. It will take you away from the Second Company for a time.
As you command, Chapter Master.
The Brother Chaplain will brief you. It was he that suggested you for the task.
My lord, the sword of Calth is ready to depart.
Thank you, Captain. My ship will convey you to your destination. I shall be glad of your company.
Titus, it has been an honor.
It has indeed, my captain.
I hear you'll be taking your leave of us. Not for too long, I hope. Emperor guide you.
And you, sir. Brothers, I am called to serve elsewhere.
You'll be missed, my lord.
I will not forget the blood we have drawn together.
Nor shall we.
I owe you both a debt. You have restored my faith in brotherhood.
We shall await your return.
Courage and honor.
Courage and honor.
Titus, Lord Calgar has informed you of your assignment. Good. I will brief you en route.
You are joining us.
I am.
Very good, my lord.
You have done well. You have won the trust of your brothers. And of the Chapter Master. But know this, Titus. The stain of suspicion never completely fades. I will be watching you. Should you falter on the path, for even a moment. I will show no mercy.
Leandros.
My lord, it is time.
Well, that is it. That's the end of Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2. What a game. Awesome, awesome game. Not a ton of critiques of it. Honestly, it was a really fun single player experience. Good times in the multiplayer. You should pick this game up for sure if you're looking for some kind of like a hack and slash adventure shooter kind of game. It's got some difficulty to it. It was a lot of fun. I had a blast, and hopefully you had a blast with me, and hopefully you learned a lot. And hopefully you're willing to go do some hard things here soon. I hopefully inspired you with my journey through 75 hard, and maybe you're going to tackle 75 hard for yourself. Either which way, go do something hard and tell me about it. I'd love to hear about what you're doing in the comments and celebrate you in that process. So let me know. Also, if you like these videos, subscribe. I would love, love, love it if you could subscribe to my account, to my channel. It would mean the world to me as I'm growing this small channel. It's a hard battle to get a channel off the ground. And so every subscribe, every like, every comment just means the world to me. So thank you in advance. And I look forward to chatting with you in our next video. See you real soon. Thanks so much, everybody.